Hello again. This is Up North Matt. Thanks for watching the video. If you're watching this, this is my trip to Wolf Lake. I was thinking I might not ever post this one. It's one of those places where I always get that feeling like I don't want to tell people where it is or go there, tell people how to get there, because then it becomes overpopulated and ruined. But watched an interesting video from the Happy Camper the other day, and it's a good idea. I can't remember who he said told him the same story. If nobody goes there, then we're going to lose it. No one will fight for it if no one ever knows about it. So decided to post this video, and this is another one of my videos in the series where I didn't know my audio didn't work until I got home and watched the videos. So I'm doing my audio track post-recording. But anyways, started off the day. It's a fair drive from where I live, about not fair drive, hour and a half. It's got to go slow down the logging roads, but I took my little tiny car and my kayak back on the logging roads. I snapped a couple pics as I was driving up. I left early. I think I left about 5 in the morning. Some of the cool shots I got as I was driving in. This is the waterfall right at Wolf Lake. The waterway passes from Dudney into Wolf, and here I am. Pretty excited that I had actually found the place. I'd never been there before, so I was pretty excited to hop out of the car, get my stuff off the car. Don't mind my cat, he's bouncing around here. If you hear him meow here and there, he's interested in what I'm doing down here. So you'll wander down. This is the portage between the road and Wolf Lake, and the road actually bypasses the portage in between the two, in between Dudney Lake and Wolf Lake. There's a beautiful waterfall and a nice old wooden bridge that you cross over, single lane Bailey Bridge. But it's really a rough road. I wouldn't advise going up there with a Mazda 3 like I did. I almost got stuck on the way out at the end of the day. The gravel it wasn't gravel, just boulders. Going back up the hill was too steep and too loose, so I had to take about 4 or 5 runs at it with my car to get up the hill. And yeah, I would recommend 4-wheel drive if you ever go up there. You can get here from Madagascar Lake. It's a little bit longer of a paddle. There's a nicer boat launch there, easier to get to. And I think I haven't done this portage from the Madagascar side, but I plan to probably do that this summer. It's I think an hour and a half maybe paddle from that boat launch. So this is the beautiful waterfall. Here I am acting all cool. I didn't even think I'd stop. Yeah, I stopped for breakfast later in the day. So this was about 7 or 7:30 in the morning. Just beautiful, crystal clear green water. So nice there. So one of the things with Wolf Lake is it is part of the Chiniguchi waterway park system. So they designated part of this as a park, and the piece that isn't protected fully anyways is the Wolf Lake area. There is actually some mining claims that they had the chance to get rid of a couple years back, and they never did, because the almighty dollar and the mining industry drives everything in this town. So in this whole area is like that. But apparently if they find ore in there, anywhere in there, basically the mining groups get first dibs on everything, and including some of the logging apparently. But the reason it's of concern is this is, according to different websites you go to, maybe the world's largest remaining old-growth red pine forest. Some of the trees in there are 140 to 300 years old. I think they said on the western shore of the lake. I have to tell you, it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, and I can't believe it was so close to where I lived, and I'd never heard about it until started poking around on the internet trying to find some interesting places to go kayak and camp, and So it's basically it's crown land. There are a few crown land campsites on each of the lakes up there. I can't remember who it was that they had reopened all the portages up in the Chiniguchi system. I think back in the 70s. I think it used to be part of the indigenous trading route, but it kind of had fallen into not disuse, but I guess no one was really going up there. I believe I read somewhere it was between the 20s or the 50s and the 70s, and then these couple guys went up there and reopened it all the portages and found new ones or made new ones. And there's quite a nice loop. You can actually loop around through the Sturgeon River. I haven't done that yet. I've done parts of it. I think I've done most of the southern lakes in the Chiniguchi. Little day trips here and there. Just exploring. I decided that morning I was just going to tour the lake, check out all the campsites. I think there's 4 on Wolf Lake. I could be wrong there. 4 or 5 anyways. And they're just crown land sites. People going up there on weekends. And the thing I did find was that you get a lot of, I've read about this elsewhere, but people will go buy like a $30 tent from Canadian Tire, fill it full of rocks, so it doesn't blow away, and set up a tarp so it looks like someone's camping there, but then they just go every weekend and it's their site, even though you're not supposed to do that. First come, first serve for anywhere like that. Not really fair to other people, but I did read a funny story. A guy was going up there, and anytime he canoed, he would check out the sites, and if it didn't look like anyone was actually there, he would stop and have a look, and if it was a tent full of rocks and a tarp that somebody strung up, he would just take it all down and bring it home with him and throw it in the garbage. Because I think even at the portage in between Sylvester Lake and Madagascar, there's an old canoe sitting there. I thought, who would leave that there? So I imagine it's somebody who goes up there on weekends and sticks their other boat at the Madagascar side, because there's a boat launch with the motors. Motorboats are allowed on that lake, or can access that lake, and they probably walk the portage and hop in their canoe and paddle up to Wolf Lake, where they got their campsite every weekend. There's this beautiful, looks like quartz almost, bluff, looks like almost like Killarney. When you get to the east side of the lake, you can see I'm heading towards it there. And it's all just crumbling rock, just falling down into the lake. So I have my 16 foot? I think 60. Just so long since I was in it. Can't remember. We got a canoe last year, and I've been using that lately and bringing the dog with me, as some of you may have seen in another video if you watched them. On this trip I had brought my kayak, a bit of my camping gear. I hadn't planned to spend the night. It was just a day trip, but I brought all my gear just in case. A little bit extra food, and I didn't know what I was going to encounter up there, so I was lucky I did. I almost got stuck with my car, so there's obviously no cell reception up there, so it would have been quite the walk out of there. So they say it's a dead lake. It's very acidic. It's very blue, green looking, absolutely beautiful water, crystal clear. You can see so far down. It's quite the peak up there. There is a lookout on, I believe it's on the other side of the lake. I haven't done that one. Heard it's very difficult to get up there unless you got a 4x4 vehicle, or quad, or something that can handle the steep, rugged roads. I didn't want to attempt that one with my car. I tested fate getting to here, so I don't think I'd do that again without the truck. When I went to Chiniguchi Lake last year, I brought the truck, and it was a lot easier than bringing my car in there. You can see the size of some of these boulders. Those slow works of time. Nature pushing things down slowly with the ice and freeze-thaw cycles. Here I'm talking to myself again. I got about 4 or 5 trips where I spent the weekend talking to the camera and not realizing that the filmed this all on the GoPro. I have a waterproof back cover for it, and that actually covers up the microphone, and then you can't hear anything. And also my spare battery too for the GoPro. It actually covers the mic up. It's kind of faulty design in my opinion, but maybe they'll fix that someday if they haven't already. Beautiful morning. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was a pretty hot day. I believe this was either early August or middle of August. Which is nice because bug season had already died down, so didn't have any problem with bugs when I was up there. At this point, I'm basically just following the shorelines. I had a map, great map from ottertooth.com, waving to a couple folks who were camping on one of the campsites. So I was just paddling around each of the sites, trying to see what they look like. I was planning on stopping for breakfast at one of them, but it ended up that I think the first 2 or 3 that I had kind of cruised by, I had people on them. So. Not surprising, it was a weekend in August, so plenty of folks touring up one of the campsites on the weekends. It is Crown land, so you're basically free to use it. It's a good sized lake. I think it took me about half hour, 45 minutes to paddle from the north end to the south end. And it feeds right into Sylvester Lake, which is nice. You don't even have to portage that one. It's got almost like a little chutes in between the two. Tiny bit of current. At least it wasn't when I was there. And maybe in a drought year it might be drier, but in August of that year, I don't remember it being a wet year, and I was able to just paddle right through from Wolf Lake into Sylvester Lake. So here I'm crossing, going from the east shore to the west shore. I believe there was a campsite on the other side here, so I thought, oh, I'll go check that one out and see if I can stop there for breakfast. That would be the side folks say that the older trees are. This area survived, I think I've read, 4 different forest fires. And the thing with the red pines, they have a really tough outer bark, and they grow tall enough that the older ones, anyways, that they don't. Well, for the most part, I think they would be shielded from forest fires on the ground level. That's what they say, anyways. So the canopy gets high enough up that the tree basically gets some fire scars on its bark, but the forest fire would burn off the duff on the forest floor and leave it open for new pine trees to grow. It's almost a fire-friendly tree is what I read on one of the websites. So this area was slated to be logged a while back, and luckily someone went and had a look at it, and the I guess the forestry database listed them either as being younger trees, it was an old growth, or there's a lot fewer old growth trees than what is actually there. So this forester had gone and basically came back and said there's no way that anybody should be cutting down those trees. And, luckily, he got a hold on the forest, the logging up there. And this was one of the campsites. I just want to check it out here. You can let you see how clear the water is. It's just absolutely beautiful. I kept on going from that campsite, headed down, trying to see if there was another spot over here. I forget the reason why I didn't stop at that one. Might have been the deer flies or something where it was kind of shady, so I wanted a little sunnier spot. Cruising down here, I thought, there's a bit of a nice spot on the point there, and just keeping on going, checking it out. I spotted those couple trees up there on the right. I had brought my hammock with me, so I thought, you know what, I'll sit up there, do a little check around the point here before I go back. And you see the steep cliffs on this side too. A lot of crumbled, fallen rock in here. It's almost like limestone. Just beautiful, beautiful sheer cliffs in here. I haven't seen this. I decided, well, this is probably a little too steep to hang a hammock anywhere in here, so decided to head back the other way. Back to my original spot I had spied out there. Something else to be said for being up there where there's no motorboats, no noise, very quiet, not a lot of people. Even on a weekend, I didn't see any other boats. No, I do come across occasionally if people doing paddling trips on the Chiniguchi river system. I didn't see a single person up there that weekend, other than the people on the campsites. But it's kind of not a lot of folks into the leave no trace mentality up there. You got people building benches and bringing in picnic tables and garbage pits and the usual garbage of humanity leaving stuff behind. Not my way of doing things. So. But gotten to here, and I think I'd heard of beaver splash. So generally, what I like to do when I'm out paddling is if I come across some interesting wildlife, especially stuff that dives and comes back up, I'll kind of hang out, try to coast up as close as I can without moving towards it, and then I'll give a quick paddle if it goes underwater and try to gain some ground on it, and then just stop paddling and coast into where it was. So I had been trying to do that, thinking the beaver would come back up, but he never did, the sneaky guy. waited around, kept waiting. He didn't want to pop his head up, so this is where I stopped. Same spot I pointed out earlier. Pretty jagged rocks there. I was kind of prove to myself, could I sleep there the night? Show off for the tent folks. You can't do that with a tent. Hammocks only up there. I wouldn't want to try and get out of there in the middle of the night and go for a pee, but might end up twisting your ankle pretty bad. And those rocks actually ended up being a lot of loose ones. I actually had one almost fall on my leg while I was climbing. So this is me set up with my my Warbonnet Blackbird XLC hammock. Just set it up to hang, just something to sit in while I had breakfast. Take a little breather, a little rest there. I'm on the west shore of Wolf Lake at this point. I think I had just brought my little propane stove or butane stove and some oatmeal and some water. Nothing too fancy. Just some quick energy. Oh yeah, there's my oatmeal. The plan was just to have some coffee and a quick pack of oatmeal. I think I brought the water filter. It was going to be hot, so I thought I could bring the filter. That way I can pretty much drink as much as I need to and not have to worry about it. Boiling water or any of that stuff. Got perfect flat rock there, and no threat of lighting anything on fire. So this whole time I was starting to get warm and thinking, I should go for a swim, and I didn't bring any towels or anything like that. Maybe I won't go for a swim. I'll just cool off while I'm here on the shore. Got back in the boat and started thinking, I should have gone for a swim. Why didn't I go for a swim? Oh well, I'm in the boat now. I'm paddling. Maybe I'll find somewhere else to swim later. Here's my wonderful view from the hammock. Can't beat that. That's my setup. Every time I watch this, I want to go back there. Such a gorgeous lake. You can actually see the rocks underneath on the shore there in the water. You stare down and the fish were actually coming up and almost like they were checking me out. Like, what is that shape on the shore? And because water's so clear you can see it right out. Apparently, from what I read, there is no fish in this lake, but I saw plenty while I was standing on the shore. They were swimming all over the place. Nothing big, just little guys. I don't know what kind of fish they were. I'm not much of a fisherman, so. bit of shade there. Get out of the sun. Nice comfy hang. Grabbed a couple pictures. Always like to take a mix of pictures and video. Starting to do a bit more of the video stuff. These ones were more, when I recorded these, it was actually more just to show my kids. This is where I went. My wife was on a shopping trip for getting ready for school when I had gone up here, and used to take these just to show my kids the places I kind of checked out while they were down south shopping. My sexy legs. Corpse like feet. Chug. Something to be said for the comfort of a hammock right beside the lake. Can't beat that. Nothing better. A little sway on the hammock. You can see it. So this is the little beaver finally came back around the corner. Checking me out again. He wasn't too happy I was there, I guess. A little close to his lodge. I was trying to get him splashed in there, but he just kind of slowly turned and disappeared like a submarine. He was gone. After this, I packed her up. Well, actually, I think I had another little rest there. Here I am trying to get some of these fish on video. They just kept coming right up to the water, like right up to the kind of horizon between water and sky, and just looking at me. So I was like, I gotta get the camera and try and put the GoPro in the water and see if I can catch it. And, not knowing that's the downside of the GoPro, you don't have a preview screen. So at this point, I was just trying to record and see if I could see any fish underwater. And I mean, you can see how clear it is. You can see the little suspended particles. I tried a couple tries to get the fish. I take the camera out, and you can actually see there's a fish right there. Take that. People say there's no fish up there. Maybe I don't know if that means the lake's recovering or the acidity is not too high for those ones, but you can see how crystal clear it is there. It's almost turquoise. Last little shot from the shore. So jumped back in the boat and continued on down the southwest side of the lake. Just exploring, trying to see what else was there, and just enjoying it. Kind of the east and west shores are these steep slopes and cliffs and crumbly rock there, but then you get on the north side, it's got the portage and I guess the road in between, and then the south side's just really nice forest. It's dense, but it's nice. It's really nice forest in there. as a hammocker there, you rely on the trees to be able to hang, and it was something to put your tree straps around a tree that could be 100 years old, and hopefully someday they get their heads out of their butts and protect this place. Kind of my thinking on posting this video. As much as I hate to go up there and see anybody else, people won't go. People won't go to see this. It's not far from a major town, so it's hard to believe that this hasn't been logged, considering how much logging has gone on in the last 150 years in this area. And it's got to be protected. It's got to be. This will never, in our who knows how many generations it would take for this to come back after if they log it. Because they don't selectively cut, they clear cut. It's ridiculous. Anyone who's ever driven up in any of these logging roads, it's a crime. It is not managed. The trees that lay behind are pathetic. Sorry to anybody who's in the forestry industry. I just disagree with the way it's done. So here I am. I think this was the transition between Wolf and Sylvester. It was a little, I wasn't too sure what I was coming into, so I was just taking my time and trying not to bounce off any rocks. Even though it doesn't matter if I get any scuffs on this kind of kayak, but I still hate to beat my boats up. Trying to just scooch my way through and see how deep it was, and it was a nice little channel through there. Never really, I don't think I touched anything. Just took my time and pushed through here and there where I needed to. This is my version of whitewater rapids. Very low key. 0 on the difficulty level. No helmets required. So Sylvester Lake's kind of a long, no, I wouldn't say narrow lake, but just runs north-south. Beautiful trees lining each side. Here I'm looking, just checking out the shore. Trying to stay in the shade. It was nice. It was a nice paddle down that east shore there. Just chilling in the shade for as long as I could. Kept cool and it was nice. Pretty bigger boulders on this side. The west shore I had stopped on the way back up, and it was smaller, pebble-sized beach almost. I don't recall. I think there was only one campsite on this lake. Spoken the wrong facts here. Should have looked at my otter tooth map before I mentioned it. There was one of them. I think it was on this lake. I paddled past, and it was a nice campsite. You can tell someone goes there often. There's groups of people go there often. It had all kinds of, like I said, camp furniture. People cutting trees down and building benches and couches and out of trees. And in the back of it, it had a funny smell, and as I was paddling through, you could just see that it was this immense garbage pit full of cans and garbage that people brought up there. It was just disgusting. It's a nasty smell to it. It's just hard to believe that people do that. On my right here, I believe this was just past where one of those tents was set up with a tarp hanging around, so it looked like someone was camping there, but there was no one there, no boat. No other gear, just the tent. I didn't know any better. I passed a few of them while I was up there, and when I got home, I did some research and realized that what it was. People claiming sites. Oh, there, actually, you can see the tent right there. Yeah, right on the right side there. There was a tarp and a tent. people. Nobody around. I never saw a soul. Other than the original campsites that were on Wolf Lake, there were some people on those. I think all 4 of them had folks camping on them. So Sylvester narrows down to this little bay here, and once you get to the end of it, this is what you are rewarded with. This fantastic waterfall. And this one is gaining in popularity. First year I went here, I'd never heard of it. It's called the Blue Lagoon or Paradise Lagoon. You can see the logs there that jam up in there, I guess, every spring. I don't know if they used this at one point as a log run, but there are a fair number of logs in there. I actually walked across that to get to the other side. But last year when I went to Chiniguchi, I couldn't believe the number. There's actually there's a quad trail or a small vehicle trail that leads to this waterfall, and there must have been 10 or 15 cars parked there that weekend I went to Chiniguchi, and people walking in and checking out the falls. And it just feels like you're cheating if you take your car up there to me. You should have to paddle down there and enjoy it like I did. So there's a series of waterfalls that kind of wind their way through. It was a pretty rugged portage. I walked down to the end. I think it splits in two. There's a pond in between Madamagasse and this portage, and there's another portage I think at the end of that one. But which I think you might be able to run in the springtime maybe if you don't want to do the portage. But I was just checking it out. My first time up there, so I figured I'd wander the portage and see what was down there. And that is the Paradise Lagoon off in the distance there, which I'll show you after this. You can see the color of the water. It's just gorgeous. Beautiful turquoise color. Crystal clear. And so I think at that point you'd put your boat back in and paddle a little further down to the next portage. So I decided to just head back up and go check out the waterfall a little bit more. So you can paddle from there down to the end of that, and then there's another portage to Madamagasse Lake. So this is the log jam that's up there, and the water just flows right underneath it. And I love to grab little shots of these cool things you see when you're out walking. So here I am, standing at the top of the waterfall. That is the Paradise Lagoon, or the Blue Lagoon, depending on what you call it. So it was just absolutely breathtaking. I'd done a little bit of research on Wolf Lake before I went up there, but I hadn't read anything about this other than there was this lagoon is what they called it, and I didn't know what that meant really, to be honest. This is the view from the other side of the little lagoon. Checking this out, just decided, you know what, it's hot. There is nobody here. I'm going to go for a swim. Don't laugh at my dive here. I had no idea how deep it was, so I didn't want to dive into a rock in the middle of nowhere. So I just kind of flopped in there. You can see the smile on my face. There's something about it. You just can't even explain the happiness you feel when you find places like this. Just joy, just being there. Makes me smile just watching. I had to get over and check out the other side just to see what the waterfall looked like. I should have actually went underneath of it. Anyway, get too far in and slip, and you know how slippery some of that stuff's going to be. So. And this time I took a little more courageous dive. I hadn't touched any rocks on the way over this. I don't know if there's anything more refreshing than that after 3-4 hours paddling in the boat in the sun. That's an experience, I tell you. A lot of people are going up there now. I think it's gaining in popularity as a kind of gotta see it kind of place. And people can walk in. I don't think it's too far of a walk. Once you park your car, most people weren't taking their cars in there. So check out this cool tree I found. I had to take a picture of that one. So this is the back on the boat. I paddled over to Sylvester Lake and chilled out on the shore there. Had a little bit of lunch. Really cool little shore. I was trying to sneak up on a loon here, but I think this was about as close as I got. They went under and came up quite a ways away, so I'd given up. But this is what I do, is just kind of not move and just let myself float with whatever momentum I had and see how close I can get to them. They usually let you get pretty close. I paddled back up to Wolf Lake and decided to stop and have a cup of coffee and tie up to some of these beautiful pines. Talk to the camera even though the camera couldn't hear me. So this isn't the campsite. I just threw the hammock up in between a couple trees, and I think I actually slept for about an hour after that. Just had my coffee and passed out for a little while, just to enjoy the quietness and the solitude and the breeze in the trees. You can see the forest. It's just stunning in there. So what I read, the mining company that has rights up there is a penny stock mining company. So chances are they'll never mine up there, unless they find something significant, and they never have. I guess it was gold is what there's hints at up there. So there's stopped at one site. There was a clearing, and you could actually see the actual collars of the drill holes where they brought a drill in and drilled some test holes or something. Hopefully they never find anything up there. Hopefully they remove the mining rights before anybody ever gets in there and ruins it. That's the beauty of it. Throw your kayak up on the rocks, hang up your hammock, and have a little rest. That was pretty much the end of my day. I paddled back to the boat launch, and I got the boat back on the car, and for the next hour trying to get up the first hill, and ended up getting out. Luckily, we're starting to get the light was starting to fade there, and nobody else up there, no other cars. So if I had gotten stuck, I might have had to camp out there. But I had my gear with me, so I was all right. And if you ever want to take a trip, that's the place to go if you're near there. It is absolutely amazing. Well, I hope you like the videos. Should be getting out there pretty soon. We're busy with selling a house, so it's been crazy busy trying to get things ready, and Haven't been able to get out as much as I wanted to, but I'm hoping to get out in the next couple weeks, and I got a couple trips planned already for once the bugs start to tone back a bit, and should start to get better, and I'm planning to get out more. So if you like the videos, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. For those folks who actually watch the videos all the way through, thank you very much, and appreciate it. We'll see you hopefully on the next video.